Hello, this is the Green Corn Rebellion Show, and today I'm here with Alex Scott, who is the Norman, Oklahoma Ward 8 City Councilor, and she's also a candidate for the Oklahoma State Senate in District 15. How are you doing today?
I'm doing super well. Thank you for having me today, Gregory. Appreciate you.
All right. So, today we're going to talk about how campaigning has changed since the pandemic has started. So, since the last time we talked, can you tell me how things have changed since then? Because now you can't really have fundraisers the same way. You can't really knock doors and stuff like that and have, contact with humans.
Hey, yeah, human contact is pretty critical to grassroots campaigning too, and don't mind my dog. She's just harassing the neighbors, I think. So, yeah, no, that contact is totally critical. Going to events, hosting fundraisers, looking people in their eyes, especially voters, you know what I mean? And having canvassing events is how, we win. Going door to door is how we win. And it's changing right now. And if people don't start taking this seriously, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. And that goes, for people, the economy, and campaigns. So the health, I feel like the coronavirus has obviously exposed the large gaps in our healthcare system, and also, the total lack of leadership when it comes to funding these critical services such as healthcare, and like the infrastructure we were lacking, are lacking. And so it's changing. It's changing campaigns because it's become very largely online, which online is a brutal, brutal world. It's a beautiful, dark place. But I mean, it has to happen. And so just becoming more innovative. I have been trying to entertain the masses with just like little personal posts, Dear Diary. I actually am really enjoying isolation. I'm isolated with my dogs. But people are worried about me losing my mind, but I'm just spending so much time at home. I'm cleaning and uncovering little random costumes and putting them on and entertaining, hopefully, people. But yeah, so sitting at home, phone banking is going to be pretty big for our campaign. So as soon as we have filing coming up, and I was talking to my finance director, Anne, she's basically everything. I love her to death today, about filing. And so I have the filing paperwork here, and I have to get it notarized, and so I'm going to get to figure that one out. I don't know if they're going to be open. I don't suspect that they would be. Where you go to file, maybe we'll have to mail it in. So I might call and figure that out, but I think that it could just be mailed. It has to be notarized, but I will have to have somebody notarize it. And so I guess I'll set it down after I've filled everything out, and then they'll, walk over and notarize it, and then I'll come back and pick it up and stick it in the mail. So that's been a change. The online boosting, I had to cancel a fundraiser, which was a bummer. We were really looking forward to it. It would have been a really great fundraiser. They often are. But, that doesn't mean that we're not getting donations. But so for me, I get like, I feel weird and icky about fundraising in the first place. You know what I mean? And then also so for me to be having to ask, call people and ask them, like, in this circumstance where so many people are having lost their jobs, you know what I mean? Or, really facing financial hardship, it's really difficult for me to want to be like, hey, I still need your investment in this campaign, and we have to, I have to think about it, because I want to give what I have, to other people, to help them in their situation. And ultimately, because of this, we're going to have to be looking at sending more mail, you know what I mean, which is actually very expensive and costly when it comes to sending a bunch of mail to for your campaign. Postage is expensive. And so this is making the campaign more expensive and harder to fundraise, but we've got to frame it just like, if we had better leadership, if we invested in better leadership in our future, maybe we can prevent, this type of large scale mass, health crisis as well as economic crisis. If we clearly need better leadership, so small dollar donations, but, just working harder, frankly, I would say, maybe not knocking doors, but I'm trying to decide about how I'm going to do, lit drops, if I'm going to do lit drops, or if mail is just the best way to go. But mail is expensive. So, yeah. So those are a couple things.
All right. Let's see here. So how has the response been whenever you've phone banked and whatnot?
Okay, yeah.
How's that been?
So we haven't, we're going to have our first phone bank in April, actually. So right after filing, because I have the list cut and everything set up for the phone banking. I just want to make, because there's a virtual phone bank, and then I also have some PDFs that people can work with if I can email them to them. And so I want to test it out first and make sure that I understand, the like instructions. And so I can tell other people, and, I can do a Zoom call like this. I can say, hey, thank you guys, for being willing to volunteer from home, where it's safe, social distancing. And then, we can walk through it together. And so that's kind of how I think it's going to go. And then I think it should hopefully be a pretty good reception. It's hard to do phone banking because so many of the numbers are landlines, and people don't have landlines, but it's got to be done. I mean, we've got to do everything that we can possibly do to make sure that we're reaching voters.
Yeah. And how do you feel about the response that the city of Norman has had to the coronavirus, as well as the state of Oklahoma with Kevin Stitt? How do you feel about the response that both have had?
I think I'm proud to be in Norman and a Norman City Councilor, because this is what, doing our best and like really, sucking it up, because people don't like it. People don't want to be told what to do. Businesses don't want to be shut down, and we're so heavily dependent upon sales tax, and this is what's driving me crazy too, actually. And I'll get back to what you asked, but like, it's driving me crazy that this conversation about what's going on is very heavily fixated on businesses and how businesses are handling this, and blah blah blah. Businesses are not people. That's not, they're just not. People make up businesses, and they are critical to the function of a business, but businesses are not people, and they do not vote. And so that's been really frustrating. We have a lot of business owners and stuff who have, they're having their businesses affected, and that's what's on their mind more so than the public health aspect. But so in Norman, I'm so proud of Mayor Clark. She was the first one in the state to make that tough call, and talk about, quarantine and shutting down services and stuff like our businesses. And she got a lot of flack for it. And then these other mayors, from the other towns did it, and they got some flack, but they also got a ton of praise. After Tulsa got the first case, that's exactly when Mayor Clark, she's, next day, Monday, she was like, okay, well, no, we're going to take this very seriously. We're a college town. It's about to be spring break. People are going to go home, or do something and come back, and they're going to be sick. Now, Cleveland County, within just weeks of shutting down, the numbers are rising. They're not dwindling, In Cleveland County, we have had 60 cases, I believe, as of today, and 6 deaths. So it's not good. It's very bad. And so I'm grateful that, it would be worse if we had dragged our feet like Mayor Bynum did, you know what I mean, in Tulsa, where they had the first death, as well as the first case. Eleanor. Sorry. And then, yeah, with Kevin Stitt, being out, not taking it seriously, having taken pictures of himself at a crowded, restaurant, whatever. And now even, I understand he's been delivering meals, not abiding by the 6 feet rule, as well as not wearing gloves or not changing it. I don't know. He may not be, maybe he is wearing gloves, but I wonder if he's changing them out. So no, I'm not impressed with his lack of leadership on this, with his lack of movement. And it's just, again, is another indication of the kind of leadership that we really do need in these times of crisis. Mayor Clark is exemplary. She's, a Democratic mayor, millennial mayor, of a smaller town, and took the first move. She was first, even with resistance. She was bold in the face of, all of this, and meanwhile, they dragged their feet. So.
Yeah. Well, that's all the questions I have here. We wish you luck on the campaign trail. Thank
Thank
you
you.
for coming on and talking about this. Where can we find you on social media, and what's your campaign website?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/ I think like Alex Scott for SD15. My website is really long. You can post a link or whatever. The website is Scott, the number 4, OK, statesenate.com. And on Twitter, I am real Alex Scott. I thought that was funny. Anyway, and then on Instagram, I am Alex Scott _2020. And I post a lot of pictures of my art. So, and weird, little quarantine updates, pictures of me and my dogs. So it's not all, super serious campaign stuff. So get a little insight into my personal life as well. If you want to just add me on Facebook, I'm Alexandra Scott. Sometimes I do live videos of me painting now. That's something I've taken up since quarantine. So this is nice and short and sweet. I appreciate it. Last time I was on, I think I just talked forever and ever and ever. So, so
Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Well, if
Well,
there's anything, man, if there's anything that I can do from here, if if you're, people, you have friends who need help, any kind of donation, that I can make, I will, 100% to any of these, essential workers, service industry folks. Yeah. We need to really band together and stick together and unite over more than just Tiger King.
All right. Thanks, Alex.
Of course. Thank you, Gregory. Bye.